Yeah. So moving on to the next set of features, these will be required to be made on both floor plan and sectional elevation. So if I take an example of passage corridor, that is the first set of feature here. The width aspect of this feature will be made on the floor plan and the height aspect will be made on the sectional elevation. So as you can see, you have to choose based on the design that you are making. If it is a single loaded corridor that you are making, you will use the layer name called passage, and the width aspect you will for it you will use the color code 2. And if it is a double loaded passage, then you will use the color code 2, but the layer name will be passage underscore double loaded. And for both of these, the height aspect will be named passage and it will have a color code 1. So if I show you the reference document that I have shared, because this is a double loaded corridor here, I've named it passage underscore double loaded. And in the height aspect, if you see in the sectional elevation, I have provided passage with color code 1. Yeah. So moving on to the next set of features, that is regular room. Uh, Based on the design, you can choose any of the type of rooms you are trying to make. Each one of them will be named the same, block 1 floor, whichever floor it is, and regular room, and the count of the rooms here, 1, 2, 3, and so on. And based on the design, you can choose the type of rooms you are making. The first one is the habitable room that is naturally ventilated. Like I informed you earlier, this is natural ventilated habitable rooms are not mandatory to be made for 3 projects that are residential detached, semi-detached, and row housing. If these 3 sub-occupancies are coming under low risk, you are not required to make this feature mandatorily. Otherwise, if there's any other project or you want to make this part, you can obviously use the individual polygons here that denotes the room area, and you have to make it in the floor plan, and the dimension will denote the the room height that you have to make in the sectional elevation. Similarly, we have habitable room mechanically ventilated. This will be made for mostly commercial kind of projects where the room is completely mechanically ventilated. You'll use the color code 2. Similarly, we have study room, library room, game room, CCTV, service room, MEP, and the other parts also. You can use all of these based on the design you are making. Now, moving on to Stilt and Service 4, this too, because it's important, we'll be covering in the next video. So let's first cover mezzanine floor and ICT provision. So mezzanine floor are mostly coming into the commercial parts, commercial areas and all. If you want to make this floor, you'll use the layer name that is given here, block 1, floor 0, room, whatever the room it is. It has to be matching the regular room. Inside the regular room, you can make the mezzanine room. So if you are using any one of these rooms, it has to be linked to the one of the regular rooms that you are making. So inside it, you will be using the layer name called mezzanine room. So in case if you are making an area of like 20 square meter or 10 square meter of mezzanine room, and the room itself is coming under 20 square meter of a regular room, then you'll have to name the regular room as 1, and that should also reflect here. The same naming convention should be followed here also. And obviously mezzanine area and the room count, you can provide anything here based on the number of mezzanine area you are providing. And this layer is also, as you can see, as per occupancy type. So any project you are making, you will have to use the same color code here also. The component is also same. It is a polygon that represents the mezzanine area and that have to be made on floor plan. And this is the height component to be made in sectional elevation. The last is the ICT provision for large scale projects and all. If this ICT provision is mandatory, you can provide the components here. ICT landing point that has to be made in color code 7, and the ICT landing point doors also, that has to be made in color code 1 and 2. 2 is for the fire doors and all that you have to make. 1 is for the door area and the door position that you have to make in floor plan. Okay, we'll be covering the stilt floor and service floor in the next video.